Welcome to Pod Maverick. My name is Kirk Henderson. You are joined, as always, by Josh Bowe and myself. It is just after 10 o'clock on, what day is it? Wednesday, December 3rd. The Dallas Mavericks just beat the Miami Heat at home to extend their win streak to 118 to 108. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Leave it to this bizarre Mavericks team to just keep being bizarre and unpredictable. It's great. Makes it, at least it gives us stuff to talk about after the game, other than them, like, you know, if this was like a normal 8-15 team where they're kind of getting drilled every other night, we'd be kind of like, what do we even talk about? But every game feels like it's different and exciting and interesting enough where it doesn't feel like that yet.
You know, you just said something. I need to go. I'm going to go look at the Mavericks point differential. I'm kind of curious as to what it actually is. The Mavericks are still sitting 12th in the West, but their point differential is down. I say that, you know, it's down to negative 4.3, which puts them just outside. I mean, I guess it bumps them from 12th to 11th. It doesn't really make much of a difference, but I don't know. I mean, you and I are not touchy-feely, happy fucking Mavs fans that look for the joy in every silver lining, but this is a good win. The Heat are good, and you know, obviously they haven't had their high scorer in either game that they've played, Norm Powell, and that makes a difference. But the Mavericks have been without. I mean, PJ Washington didn't play tonight, right?
Right.
Daniel Gafford went down with a case of the ankles. Don't really know what you would describe him as. You know, Anthony Davis is playing his third game coming back off a calf strain. They're playing an undrafted, though, I think, I want to be respectful to Andrew Nembhard. And I think the undrafted label, while technically accurate, because there's the second day now to the draft, kudos to his agent for literally navigating him to the Mavericks, because he's good enough to have been picked in the second round of the draft. Like, it's one of those like myth building things. It's like, oh, look at the undrafted free. No, he's good. And I said several podcasts ago, something that people will enjoy throwing at me for a very long time, that I'm just, you know, kind of iffy on whether he's an NBA player. Don't care at this point. I'm enjoying watching him play basketball. I enjoy the offense more. I mean, how many friggin' assists that guy have tonight?
13 and 1 turnover.
He has 23 turnovers and 1 assist in the past 2 games. Like, what? That's not a fucking thing. Did I say 23 turnovers?
You did say 23 turnovers and 1 assist.
Sorry.
Which would be impressive in another way, but
I had a great time. So this game, the Mavericks were, I mean, they had a bit of a this is probably their best. They started slow again. I mean, they were down like 16-8, because they just do that. But I mean, when they started 16-8, I was watching the game. I was like, they're going to come back. Like, I mean, that's just this team. I mean, that's what we've been talking about for like the last 2 weeks. And then they kind of turned it on. I mean, they didn't really look back after that second quarter run where they kind of got out to a multi-possession lead. Like, I mean, the Heat got it down to, I think, 4 at moments in the fourth, and I guess there were some parts where it looked shaky, but I was watching the second half, and there was never a part where I felt like the Mavericks lost control of the game. The response
was impressive.
And we're talking about this game a little out of order, and that's fine. I don't care. We don't have to break down the game minute by minute. But the response to having like what was essentially a 16-point lead whittled down to 4 and then pulling away is super fucking cool.
That's something good teams do. Just saying.
I mean, let's start with Coop. Okay, because we always we trail and we let him hit the second half of the show so people will actually listen. But like, this fucking guy, my God, he picks up 3 fouls in like the first 10 minutes of play for him. And I saw the third foul and went, oh God, he's gonna go back to the bench. And kudos to Jason Kidd, who I have called to be fired, and the Mavericks are 3-0 since I called for him to be fired. Left him in. And he was emphatic in that second quarter. Like Coop, he is just such a, we're so old now. And I notice with a lot of the people who we interact with, it's either people who are exactly within our age range or much younger fans who like didn't see Dirk. We have been blessed in our Mavs fan experience with watching 3 truly wildly different superstar level players, right? I mean, I think it's fair. I'm going to crown Cooper as a future superstar. Is that unreasonable?
No.
I mean, this dude fucking rocks. And I don't know where to like start talking about his game tonight, because he had 3 or 4 finishes where he clearly got fouled, no call. And he's just like this might be, I mean, the box score is a little light on some of the things, but 9 of 13 from the floor with 3 with I mean, a steal and a block. I felt like it was an incredibly impactful game for Cooper. What did you think?
5 of 7 in the paint. I mean, I don't want to like talk with hyperbole, but he is already starting to reach that level of he might be too good for the team to be bad for long stretches. There's obviously a lot of Mavs fans that want them to tank and lose every game, and obviously this is going to be their last pick that they control for the rest of the decade. This 2026 pick, and it's an awesome draft, and it all makes all the sense in the world. I'm starting to get to the point that even if they traded a lot of the veterans, like Cooper is leveling up so quickly, I don't know if it matters. Like, I think this feels like they're gonna be a playing team. I don't know if they make the playoffs. I doubt they make the playoffs. That would still be really hard. But like, you look at the teams that are ahead of them, it's Utah, Phoenix, Memphis. Like, I don't think those teams are any good. And like, I think Coop is just starting to reach that level where it's like he is, and this is kind of what happened with Luka. Remember, Luka got so good so fast. Because normally, like, you need multiple high draft picks to kind of restock your foundation when you're building around a star. And the Mavericks ran into this problem with Luka where he was so good so quickly. I mean, they were 49, 50 wins in his second season, and they never had another talented young player that they could draft after that. And like, Cooper might be reaching that. He's not even 19, and he's putting up impressive games against 2 playoff contenders. Like, I don't know. I'm watching him, and the defense is kind of what separates it. Like, his offense is so good, but his defense is so good, and his defense is so consistent night to night that even if he does have an off offensive game, he's become such an off-ball disruptor defensively that, like, I don't know. I feel like he's starting to set a floor of where the team's performance is, because I think his defense is that good, and now his offense is kind of falling into place.
The floor element is pretty important because he won Western Conference Player of the Rookie of the Month, and his former teammate Knappel won it in the Eastern Conference, and that happened after kind of a month of not a month, but what's of the 20-ish games in the range, there was some consternation about his level of play. I over-index social media, but I view social media as the lens through which some of the more ignorant comments I get are often from people who I would consider a casual, like, person who's not watching every game, who might box score hunt, but who likes the Mavs, wants to follow the team. There's nothing wrong with only catching the Mavericks when you have time. But I think it requires watching what he does specifically way more regularly to see just how impactful he's capable of being, because it says something to me, and it should say something to all of us, that like, when Anthony Davis, let's just politely refer to him as once and future superstar Anthony Davis, who knows what he'll be, but he's an unbelievable player, former number 1 overall pick in his first, right? And then Ryan Nembhard, an honest to God point guard, and not one of these scoring guards who passes out of necessity. There's just something there when it's like some of his best games have come when being surrounded by better players. Like that's important to me. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And he's surrounded by players, better, good players that make sense. Like you remember Luka's rookie season, he had a lot of vets around him too, but they didn't make sense. Wesley Matthews, Harrison Barnes, DeAndre Jordan, guys that, wanted the ball, wanted touches. Even Dennis Smith, they had to figure out the fit. Like there was a lot that didn't fit right with Luka in his rookie season, which is why I think that team struggled as much as it did, despite Luka being as good as it is and as good as he was. And I think what we're seeing with this stretch with Cooper is you're seeing the talent match fit more than it has at any other point in the season.
And the crunch time scoring, the clutch time scoring should tell people a lot. And I just don't think it has, because the Mavericks have lost just enough of these games to make them feel a little bit inept. But he's the man. He's unafraid to take the big shot. And that, he passed up one, and I remember seeing just Facebook posts, oh, he's never going to be the guy. And the guy's got a splint on his right hand. Like there's levels to being an NBA player, and it shouldn't surprise any of us if, and I'm not saying when, because I want to put this caveat of if around All-Star break, Cooper starts to play decidedly worse, because he will have never played basketball like this in his life for this long. Yeah, it's the rookie wall is real, because no matter how much AAU ball these guys play, it's a different level of impact on your body, and you just get tired. However, I don't know if it'll really matter to Coop, because he's already looked tired a couple of times, and then he comes back looking better. I mean, our guy Tyler Edsall, one of our draft guys, regularly describes him as just a supercomputer with his processing ability and his willingness to attack and solve problems. And seeing him play the Heat for the second time in about 2 weeks, he knew what he was doing in this game. He knew where his angles were. He knew where he could succeed. Obviously, having Anthony Davis back helps. That's not what I mean. He made one pat, like he drove once, and it was in the first half, where he just does this real simple basketball shit that feels powerful, where he like drives in the lane, he gets two guys on him, he jump stops and makes a basic pass to Anthony Davis in the corner for a three. His gravity was such, or at least maybe not gravity, I guess that's the right word, but his force of play is so strong that it attracts guys in a way that is so different, for at least to me, than Luka and Dirk. It's different, and it's so fun to watch and get used to.
Yeah, and the Mavericks have never had a player of his archetype ever. Literally ever. I mean, maybe the 80s, but like since at least we've been watching.
The athleticism just pops off the page, because there's one-footed leapers and two-footed leapers, and Flag is capable of doing both.
Yes.
He had a I'm sorry, I'm rambling. He had a from the right wing in the third or fourth quarter, a drive from the right wing where he leapt off of 2 feet like Russell Westbrook and finished with the foul. And it was off the glass and everything. And I'm just going, what the fuck? Like who even thinks, it's not who even thinks to take these kind of shots, but he plays with force and then with touch. And that's just really what is so surprising to me, because the force is one thing. I knew that from seeing him play high school ball and college ball, but the touch, I did not understand it. So
yeah, no, you want to know? I mean, some fun stats. This is entering tonight, so it got better after tonight because he shot really well in the paint. He was 5 of 7 in the paint. He is from in the paint, non-restricted area. He's shooting 50%, which is very, 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 very good. Anything 50% or better is like you're nearing like elite, like top of the league level. Like probably like top 20. Like I don't have the rankings, but like if you're 50% in that zone, that's really good. I think league average is like 44. What is league average? I think I have that. Yeah, league average is 44% from that zone. He's shooting 50. And he's shooting 67.8% at the rim. So he's killing it as a rookie, like in the paint. He's not making any jumpers. He's 31% on mid range. He's 30% on threes. That doesn't really matter because he's so good at the rim. He's averaging 4.2 attempts per game in the paint in the floater range, which is the most on the team by a hair outside of PJ Washington. It's crazy. His finishing ability, we talked about it before. Like when he gets ahead of steam, it's got that LeBron James like feeling. Maybe not like the violence isn't there yet. He's definitely athletic enough to dunk, I think, as well as LeBron does in game. But he's still getting there. But like, I mean, he just, once he gets an advantage going downhill, it's like over. All right, time to inbound the ball and start the next possession because he's just so good. He's so good in the paint. He's just smart with what he needs to do to get his shot off and use both like physical and mental his tool set to know what's the right play and what's the wrong play. But some of it is just he's just so explosive going downhill. I don't really know how you stop him. And that's crazy. He's 18. Like I don't know how you stop him. He's 18. Like that's silly. And like Miami is like a good defensive team. Like Bam Adebayo is a good defender. Davion Mitchell is like one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Like they have size, they have length. Like it's crazy.
This is a good take from Ryan Lewis in the chat where he says the violence is coming once he puts more weight on, and that's a really good point because he doesn't have that element of it yet. I really need to find a setup in the evenings where my dog drinking next to me. I don't know if you can hear her. She is a sloppy drinker. Sorry guys. We're at about the halfway point in the pod, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kick us to break. There are 3 ways to support the show. Tell your friends. Growing the show is the only real thing that matters to me over the long run. If you want to support us in other ways, listening to the ads and clicking on one of those links and sending us a little coin, delighted. Love that. Really appreciative of that sort of motion. But growing the show also helps too. Okay, we'll be right back. Thanks so much. Thank you for waiting. If you are at all interested in firing off takes, I cannot recommend more hanging around after this show for the Pod Maverick Mavs Party, which we'll just cut to some music. You can hang out, and then there'll be a link you can join. It's real simple. Subscribe to the show if you haven't either. Okay, second game in a row where we're sort of rambling about Cooper Flagg and Anthony Davis. What a 28-minute span for Anthony Davis. Not the most efficient scoring night. Don't really care. 17 rebounds. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Seriously, it's like Davis at 5. It's so frustrating because I think these conversations get lost. The nuance get lost in them where it's like I bag on Davis because he came into the camp. He came in training camp fat, which he did. I'm not interested in hearing otherwise. Like he probably took 2 extra weeks off because they wanted him to continue to get in great shape. He looks great. And him playing 5 changes the way the offense looks. It just does. And now that Dan Gafford's hurt, he doesn't really have a lot of choice. Talk to me about Anthony Davis's game.
Yeah, I think that was a question I wonder if people were, because this was the first game I think Davis has played since coming back where Gafford was also available. Okay. If I remember right. I can't remember. Right. Yeah, so I wonder if people, I think there is a question like, okay, he has 2 of his starter quality bigs healthy. Is he going to go back to 2 bigs? And he didn't. So that's good. So I think Anthony Davis at the 5 is here to stay. Obviously, when Lively gets back, whenever that is, maybe that would be the next test if he tries to go back to it.
Yes.
But it makes a big difference. I mean, it's just all the stuff like, and what's funny is he made 2 3-pointers tonight. Which is like, the reason why that's not why people want him to play the 5. Like it's not about his jumper. His offense was a little rusty. He got forced into some long 2s, but the defense is to me the biggest thing. Like keeping him as close to the rim as possible, where he is still one of the league's best rim defenders. No matter what you think of Anthony Davis, I mean he's still elite. He had 3 blocks. He had a couple of them were really good. I think he had a really good one in the 4th quarter on Andrew Wiggins. I mean, the Heat did score a lot in the paint. I wouldn't necessarily put that on Davis. I think that's just more a byproduct of the lineups that they're kind of rolling out right now.
The Heat run an offense that is essentially a 5-out like dribble drive.
Right.
It's designed to expose things at the rim.
Right. But the Heat only got to the free throw line 18 times, so they didn't foul a lot.
Yes.
And the Mavericks had 7 blocks, and Davis had 3 of them. So they did enough. And I mean, the Heat didn't really have a good offensive game. They shot 40% from the field. They were 30% from 3. It helps that the Mavericks can guard them. Like the way the Heat play, they don't run a lot of pick and roll. We talked about this last time they played. Like the way Miami plays kind of falls right into how the Mavericks like to guard. So that helps a lot. But Davis was a big part of it. I mean, like the rebounding can't emphasize enough how big that is. I mean, the Heat still had 14 offensive rebounds, which, you know, what are you going to do? But just having a defensive rebounder out there, you know, because Gafford just isn't it as a defensive rebounder. It's just It's just something he's never been good at. It helps because remember we talk about like the Mavericks are at that disadvantage mathematically every game because it's like they give up offensive rebounds, they turn the ball over, they don't make threes, which is like all of the like, you know, extra possessions and making threes is like how you cheat basketball and how you win games. And the Mavericks couldn't do any of those 3. They're giving up way too many more possessions, which makes it harder to win when other teams have more opportunities and more shot attempts than you. Which if you have turnovers and you give out offensive rebounds, it's going to happen. And they don't make threes. So that's another way, you know, you can kind of cheat the system. And they've, you know, with Davis back out there, they kind of shore up the rebounding. I think it helps with the turnovers in a weird way because now you're playing like a real point guard instead of point coop. And then the threes have been better because the floor has been spaced. And you're so like playing Davis at the 5 kind of doesn't completely solve it, but it helps figure out that math crunch a little bit better.
Well, is there so not to just because it's a discussion point, what do we do about the fact that the Mavericks were 50, 83%? Like they shot 50% from 3-point range.
Yeah.
That's 20% roughly above their season average.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to dump on the win because
I think you have to, you're right. You have to mention it, but also it's the NBA. And if we want to talk about 3-point shooting percentage, like it kind of feels like every game is, it's just like who made their threes and who didn't.
Sure.
And it's just a more boring conversation, but you're right. They were 16. They made 16 threes. Miami made 11. They won by 10.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the game.
You got Najee Marshall, Anthony Davis, and Ryan Nembhard, who none of the 3 are exactly sharpshooters, combining for 7 of 11. Like number one, you have to win that game because that's not necessarily something you can rely on. And the Mavericks did, but it's just, when I'm getting this out in front of this because like they go to Oklahoma City on Friday and you and I were just engaging in a little bit of debate back and forth where you think the Mavericks are just going to they're just going to hang around that game. And there's evidence to support that, right?
Yeah, they already did it.
Yeah.
They hung around when they played OKC last time when we thought they were going to get their doors blown off.
Was that a really weird D'Angelo Russell game? I can't remember.
That was the game where they went on another crazy like 30-10 run in the fourth quarter, like they did last season. Remember, they went on like a 35-4 run, and they did it again because the Heat were like the Thunder were winning by like 16 to start the fourth, and then the Mavericks scored like a billion points in a row to make it a clutch game.
I will shout out the Mavericks in the low turnovers for the 3rd straight game. They have had 8, 8, and 13 over these last 3 wins, and they average 16.
What's the common denominator in those games?
Andrew Nembhard playing like just keeping his turnovers low. It's a huge deal, but it's also
playing a real point guard helps keep your turnovers low.
Yeah, I mean
that's part of it.
Is it not to be a shit? How much of it is like PJ has dumb fucking turnovers?
I mean, absolutely. He's one of their highest turnover prone players.
And PJ not playing is just it's tough because I really like PJ playing, but I think him not playing is the secret sauce to this.
But also to be fair to PJ, you know, let's see PJ playing with a real point guard too.
That's true. That's true. No, you're right. You're right.
Let's see PJ play with Nembhard, and maybe the turnover, because a lot of PJ's turnovers is because they were playing point coop and doing all this weird lineup shit, and he had to do a lot of stuff that I don't think is his strong suit.
I don't know. He sometimes drives and he looks like that guy carrying too much shit getting out of the car. Where
the car wash guy dropping everything.
And I'm like PJ's on this team. There's no bitching about PJ in the big picture. It's just that specific element of PJ's game is pretty funny to me.
Yeah.
Nembhard just great. I Tim McMahon had a tweet. Where did it go? Ryan, this is via Tim McMahon. He says Ryan Nembhard is the only rookie to ever average at least 20 points and 10 assists while committing only one turnover in a two game span. So only rookie ever. So
not just undrafted, not just two-way, just
ever
all rookie.
all rookies. And then he finishes it off with the only other Maverick, regardless of experience, to do it. Derek Harper, who's number 12, hangs in the American Airlines Center rafters. Pretty fun. I like that. I like that group.
So what you're saying is Andrew Nembhard's number will be retired by the Mavericks in 20 years.
The last thing, just want to throw this out there. D'Angelo Russell playing a little more and being tethered to a secondary point guard or to a primary ball handler.
Who?
D'Angelo Russell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 15 minutes, 10 points. Big shots. Like really, he put the Heat were making a run and he hit 2 threes that effectively punched them in the mouth. And I think when you look back at the way that the Heat kept coming, that was a pretty effective parry for the point in time when it felt like the tide was turning. I mean, we're really mean about D'Angelo because he more or less drives everyone crazy, but you got to give credit to the guy where it's due, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he got benched. I mean, I don't think he didn't play a couple games, and I think those were coach's decisions, right? Not necessarily he was hurt.
Yep.
Which is like another kid. Everything that's happening is so classic kid. It's so classic to start the first 2 months of the season and not be totally unserious and treat it like the preseason and do all this weird lineup shit to see what works and throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And now he's playing his best players at his best positions, and funny enough, they start looking way better. And then the other part is remember, this is what happened with Quentin Grimes. Like, he kind of was a little inconsistent to start the year. He benched him flat out after a game. We're all like, what is going on? And then he came back and he started playing way better. And this Russell's 2 game, I mean, he's played, let me look. I
just like it. His decision tree.
Yeah, since being benched, and they're both been pretty productive games.
I am perfectly happy with D'Angelo Russell's decision tree being settled for shoot or don't shoot. That is fine. Running the offense, I just don't like it.
I'm with you. Yeah, no, that's good. He has 1 turnover too in the last 2 games in the Denver in this game, so that's also good.
And he was responsible for some real farts of turnovers. So really something. Okay, we should let you go. It's 10:30. Each of us might be able to get a little video game time if we're able to time this correctly. I'm going to stick around to host the Mavs party. Everybody else, thanks so much. We'll be back here Friday night. It'll be a later game. It's an 8:30 start time because the NBA fucking hates me. But at least it's a Friday. I don't know why I say at least it's a Friday. I have a 2-year-old. I will be up on Saturday morning at 6, regardless of what's happening. Thanks so much for hanging out. Look for us then. Stick around, guys. We'll be back with Mavs Party. It'll be up on your audio feed by mid-afternoon tomorrow. And go Mavs. everyone. Welcome to Mavs Party. I am Kirk Henderson, editor at mavsmoneyball.com. If you're still hanging out in the live stream, you just watched Josh and I talk about that really fun Dallas Mavericks 118-108 victory over a good Miami Heat team. The Mavericks are now riding a 3-game win streak over the Clippers, the Nuggets, probably the most impressive win of the year over the Nuggets. But this Heat win is a close second. If you haven't ever joined the show before, it is real simple. You're here on the live YouTube stream, which you're listening on the audio stream on Thursday afternoon. Find Pod Maverick, join the channel, set your notifications, and then you can join us live. It's real easy. This is a show for talking about basketball with friends instead of typing on the internet. It's something I have enjoyed doing for a really long period of time, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. Coming up first is my friend Daniel. Daniel, what's going on?
What's up, Kirk? How's it going, man?
I'm okay. 3 wins. And not only that, that game tonight, that game was over in about 2 hours and 10 minutes. And so, not only we get the win, it was a tight game. The flow went well. I had a great time watching that game. Just a lot to go with.
Yeah, I had fun watching that game too. It was crazy. I will say this: Miami is a scrappy team. They are just. I gotta say, I gotta give a lot of credit to Eric Spoelstra and what he has done over there. But the Mavericks, man, the Mavericks, they're playing hard right now, and I've been really impressed. I was really impressed that they beat Denver the other night, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, I think that Denver win in hindsight is going to look like the win of the season, depending on how they do from here on out. But this Heat team, I'm pretty critical of the Mavericks defense just because I'm a little questionable about like the 3-point. Like you just can't guard the 3-point line. It's 3-point line defense is a lot of luck, but I don't. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. The Mavericks, defended the Heat real well tonight, and I'm looking at this box score. Andrew Wiggins, who is a talented player, was a crisp 4 of 18 from the floor, and the Mavericks defense obviously plays a part there. So, it's great.
And Coop had that big block against Andrew Wiggins in the fourth quarter, which was tremendous.
Coop in the clutch is one of those things that I wish I was a better writer and analyst because it needs to be talked about more. Tim McMahon it was published on Wednesday, the 3rd here. If you've not heard him on the Hoop Collective, he more or less makes the case for why Cooper is a rising player. He didn't necessarily give him a ranking, but he threw out on a national podcast, like, if you're not paying attention to what he's doing, then you're missing out. And tonight was just another example of that.
Yeah, and I love the fact that when he goes hard at the rim, that left-handed sky hook that he does, the layup, that is so nice.
So, have you seen any of he doesn't wear it in games, at least I don't think he wears it in games, but he has like a thumb brace on during a lot of practices. Have you seen this? And it's on the right hand, the shooting hand.
I have seen it a little bit. I wonder if that's the thumb that he hurt.
It is, and he's on every single injury report that the NBA publishes as available. So that says to me they're being pretty candid about the injury and the fact that it's sprained and he's able to play through it, so he does. So my question, and this isn't a question this is more of a just a statement, is what happens when that damn thumb brace comes off and he feels good? Because I would reckon that his free throw shooting has partially gone down because of the fucking thumb brace. And are we staring at a guy that over, if he plays 75 games, is he going to inch towards like 20 points a game just because he's that good?
I mean, he's close. I mean, the last 3 games, he's averaging 20-plus points a game, the way that he's been going. And he's putting his head down, he's getting to the rim, and he's getting the mid-range shots like he's always doing. I just wish he can improve his 3-point shot a little bit more because he's so tall as a forward.
And I think that comes with time. It's funny that you brought that up because 2 days ago I was researching. I have a 9-year-old, and like every 9-year-old, he wants to play like Steph Curry. And it's like, I'm not going to let him shoot from 3 unless he can actually hit it. And I was like, how do you help children shoot from 3? And the answer is just develop leg strength. Just develop that core and leg strength, and they can eventually get it up there. And the 3-point line has been a challenge for people going back forever. And I don't know if this season I don't have expectations for his 3-point shooting. I think that comes eventually.
Yeah. But I also do think too is that when he does improve on that 3-point shot, I think he'll be a better player as we move forward.
Oh, I mean, it causes a cascade of problems for the defense, because if you stop going under on screens where he can pull up, if you have to fight over, that means he turns into like white LeBron James and attacks the rim with force, which he already does. So I'm pretty excited about that possibility.
Right. As far as the other players concerned, I like this Ryan Nembhard kid. I mean, the way that he's been playing, it's unbelievable. And he's making these deep threes. It's incredible what he's done. I believe they said on the podcast, he said he's the first player ever to have 42 plus points, 23 plus assists since 1967, if I'm not mistaken.
That's pretty, and one turnover.
Oh, one turnover. But that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive for an undrafted rookie out of Gonzaga.
So I said this on last night's show. I'm going to kind of stick to my guns because I made the take. I'm curious what happens once teams defend his shot, because his shot at Gonzaga wasn't the best, but he also didn't shoot at volume. His shot is slower than Christmas, but if you're going to give him time, fine. I mean, but the Nuggets were basically asking him to shoot, and he destroyed them. I don't think Miami allowed near as much shooting, but he was still very, very efficient. He's got just, and this is a dumb statement to say about a point guard, but his decision making is so evident compared to what we were watching earlier in the year, and that's fun.
Yeah. And the other thing is that his assists are going up. I think he had like 13 tonight against Miami.
He did.
So as far as the other players concerned, AD had another double-double, 17 points and 17 rebounds. I think ever since he's come back from his calf, it looks like that he's a little bit better. It just looks like to me, from my point.
There's two things happening here. First, he is in physical shape in a like he no longer has the belly. That's a value. The second thing, he's playing 5 almost exclusively, and he is a 5. So the fact that he's not hovering near the elbows all the time, or the 3-point line, I just think it makes him a more effective player on both ends of the floor.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he's a very good player when he's healthy. Yep. As far as the other players are concerned, I don't know if PJ is going to play on Friday.
I don't know. The thing about all this team is that I would rather, they're weird deep. I don't want to say they're like good deep, but PJ quite candidly hasn't been missed in these 3 wins. So if his ankle's not great, I would rather him get better, because there comes a time and place where you do need PJ. I think because they're playing Oklahoma City, I think they're 20-1, or
they're 21-1.
I mean, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I've never seen this before. It's absolutely unbelievable. The OKC Thunder are now the new Warriors.
Well, and the I don't remember how high the Miami Heat's win streak got, because like the Los Angeles Lakers own the highest single game win streak. They won 33 games in a row at one point. The Thunder are sitting on. Oh, did they lose to the? Oh no, that's preseason. They lost.
No, the only loss that they lost to was Portland.
Yeah, so it's been Portland, and they're not sitting on it's a longer win streak than what they've won 13 in a row. So it's sort of the question of at what point do you catch them on a night where they're not paying attention? I don't think that's a home game, and that's what the Mavericks are playing them at home on Friday night.
Well, they're playing in OKC on Friday.
That's right. Sorry, yeah. I meant to say home for Oklahoma. So
basically, but if we had PJ on that night, I mean, maybe we have a chance against OKC. But if we don't have PJ and Gafford in this game, I mean, we may lose that one.
I mean, it's statistically likely just because of what we're talking about. Let me just check there's no line for the game yet, but that's fine. It's on Amazon Prime, the 8:30 Friday night game, which means we'll get some Dirk Nowitzki talk. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's always nice to hear what Dirk has to say. Yeah, it's always nice. So
hey, I appreciate you kicking off the show. You got anything else for us?
Well, I was just going to say, too, is that the Mavericks, they're on a good streak right now. But at the same time, they got to play the Rockets the next night after the Thunder. So we'll see how that goes.
That's why this win, like we should be, I got my man, Mr. Green, who's going to join next, and he let me know he doesn't join after losses. But you just gotta, the wins as they come this year, they're not a bottom 5 team in the league. Are they a playoff team or a play-in team? I don't want to say that definitively. I think the answer is no. But what they are is a hard playing team. So on any given night, you like the fact that they could roll out and execute and hopefully get a win. I mean, they shot the ball real well in these past 2 games, and that's going to come to an end eventually. Mm-hmm. But it just enjoy the parts of the game that are fun, because I don't know what will happen with this team, but if they make a trade, we might be in for some really ass basketball, and that's not fun. So you got to lean in on these ones and say, just take it where you can and enjoy the small victories, and in this case the literal victory of beating the Miami Heat, because it's like you said, if they get waxed on Friday, I'm going to feel a little bit better about this game just because it's a W.
But if they do beat OKC on Friday, I mean, I'll be very impressed.
If they beat OKC on Friday, I better have 4,000 people in this room and everybody rioting about how great Jason. I the Mavericks are 3-0 since I called for the Mavericks since I called for ownership to fire Jason Kidd. So
we got to take it what we can, Kirk. We got to take what we can. So
hey, we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, Kirk. See you later.
Talk to you. All right, coming to the show next, everybody's favorite Australian, Mr. Green, who looked like you were wearing a do-rag and smoking a cigar in my little mini preview screen. Okay, you had the backwards hat. That's just as good. How are you doing tonight?
Hopefully I've got some audio today.
You sound good. I don't. So one of my complaints about this particular app is it makes assumptions about your audio inputs that are often dead fucking wrong. It drives I log into my show and it'll do my headphones as the output or as the input for audio, and it's just why are you selecting that? I use the same thing every time I log in. It drives me nuts. So I'm sorry about that.
Beggars can't be choosers, Kirk. That's the reality, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, what a game. I'd say that the biggest difference that I've seen this year watching all these games is, isn't it crazy you can throw the ball to a nice, short, competent point guard who doesn't shit his pants on the second dribble? And if he was going to fail, Kirk, there was a huge chance he was going to get exposed tonight against, what's his name? Davion Mitchell.
Good defender.
His nickname was Off Night, I'm pretty sure, when he was coming to the league, because of what he used to do to other teams' point guards. And I thought to myself, if Nembhard doesn't have a great game tonight, I can understand why. I think Mitchell's 6'3", built, he's just an absolute nugget. But, mate, didn't phase Nembhard, which was fantastic to see. I loved to see him holding the ball and orchestrating and waiting for something to happen. And some of his passes tonight were fantastic. And, mate, I'd say you could put a direct correlation to our three-point shooting in the last 3 games to him holding the ball and getting it in the shooter's pocket, which I haven't seen since we got rid of Luka.
Ooh, this is a good take. It's not one I've heard yet. So you feel the quality of passing is that high for what he's been doing?
Oh, without a doubt. And it's not even the quality. Well, yes, it is quality because, quality takes into consideration a lot of things. But he holds the ball without panic and waits for the guys to get set and then delivers it at the right time. And Christie's taking a lot of benefit from that. Obviously, Clay's been on a heater for the last 3 games. And, mate, you go back and you watch his assists and you have a look at where the ball's landing. And I'm telling you, mate, it's between the navel and the nipple, right in the shooting pocket. And I'd say that's why we're shooting 50% from three over the last 3 games. It's great delivery, and it's contagious.
This is a good take. This is a very good take.
But I'd also like to continue my rant about Daniel Gafford. I don't know what you see in him, Kirk. Mate, he just frustrates the hell out of me. And I watch these games alone, and I'm yelling to get him off and bring on Dwight Powell. That's how infuriated I am at watching his play. I've never seen a guy drop his head so quickly and just fumble ass around the basket. It's incredible. Unless it's past 11.5 foot above the rim, then he's pretty much useless, man. He's so ineffective, it's doing my head in. It really is. We've got to get rid of that guy. He doesn't bring anything to the table. He really doesn't. It's just
I
doing
think he
my
plays.
head.
I think he plays with a lot of energy, but I will say that I find, and this is something I accepted about him a long time ago, why I thought Lively should start over him over the long run, back before Luka was traded, is that he is such a, like, his what makes him a great offensive rebounder is why he sucks as a defensive rebounder, because he's like a cat, like trying to find the laser pointer, where he's a little too jump happy. He ends up out of position. And then there's the additional factor of him being a lot more slight than he looks. Like, he is not a heavy player. Like, some guys are big in the, like Davis is kind of is hefty in the ass. Like, he doesn't necessarily look it all the time. I mean, he did at the beginning of the season, which is why I called him fat. But he's got a bigger ass than you'd think, which is very helpful for just like holding guys off. Gafford, his center of gravity feels a little high, kind of like Dwight Powell, and he just gets bumped out of.
He's high in the hip.
Yes. Yep. And high in the hips and light in the ass means you can't rebound. That's just physics. So I mean, and so I've sort of accepted those limitations. And I also know, just from asking around, his ankle is really not good and hasn't been good since the preseason. And it's one of those things where it's like, he wants to play. The Mavericks needed him earlier, and now they don't. I don't want to say they don't need him, because I think they do. But if he's hurt enough to where it's like, one bad roll causes him to need to run off the court and be out of the game, then let's give him 2 weeks. It's fine.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I feel the team plays better without him. I really do. And I wasn't saying that, well, let's not worry about last season, but I wasn't saying that a couple of seasons ago. He was impactful, but man, it really hurts me to watch him. I get emotionally damaged watching him. I just hope he gets his shit together, man. And maybe it's the 2 weeks that he needs, because we don't need him. I would much rather see a smaller, more nimble, more twitchy lineup with Coop and Najee out there, and then rotating Clay in, and just, sounds like Davis is willing to play the 5. And, I mean, it's the last 3 games he's done it. We've had 3 wins. So
I have a sneaky suspicion. This is where Jason Kidd's sociopath tendencies probably come in handy, where he probably looks at him and is like, guess what position you're playing? Like, there's probably not a lot of discussion going on, and they flat out need it. And I get he doesn't like the Jokic. We didn't talk about this last night because you weren't here. Jokic played like soft baby shit against the Mavericks. Like, he had 32, 20, and 10, and I thought he was bad, which shows how high the standards are for Jokic. But there aren't enough huge centers in the NBA to really bother Davis playing 5 on the game-to-game basis. If they're worried about, because he only played 28 minutes tonight, which is also pretty important to me. So if they want him to play some 4, I will live with this. Like, Musa Cisse exists, and he's a heavy, big man who can soak up 10 minutes and not kill the Mavericks.
And a DMP with Hardy again tonight, like yesterday. So, I'd say coaches telling these guys, because it's not going well and they don't know exactly what they're trying to achieve right now. But he's obviously telling them, look, you guys are going to sit. D'Lo sat 2 games. Now Hardy and Cisse have sat 2 games back to back.
It's fine.
I'd expect both of them to play play against the Thunder. But yeah, man, I mean, it's enjoyable basketball. Like I said, I know you watch the games twice. Just watch where Nembhard's pass lands. If it's just in between the nipple and the navel, mate, it seems to be going there every single time. But more importantly, his first step, he's so confident in his first step, he's willing to hold it just inside the half and wait for everyone to get set up. Because if the defense scatters and this before the screen gets to him, he can take his man. And I really thought that was going to be a massive challenge for him tonight against Davion Mitchell. It wasn't. He played brilliantly. Coop's insane, man. He really is. And the one thing I've noticed about Coop doesn't shoot off the backboard. If you look at most of his buckets on his drives, it's off glass, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't shoot the ball at the backboard. What he does, it's like if me and you were playing with a small ring against our bedroom door. We just float up and just drop it in. He literally fluffs it off the glass. His control with his left hand, man, I can't wait till I see him with a good right thumb, because he's changed. He's changed his game dramatically after injuring that thumb, Kirk, and he has the ability to nerf ball it off the backboard. It's crazy to watch. You watch that as well. You watch his drives, and he's not finishing through. He's not following through like a shot against the backboard. He's just nerfing it. That's the sort of control this kid's got at 18. It's mind-blowing, man.
It's mind-blowing because he's attacking the rim like a freight train. So he's able to judge this is what's, and again, my comparison point is I watch a lot of 9 and 10-year-olds play basketball because they're still learning how to use their limbs. But Cooper is 8 years older than them. And so it blows my mind with his ability. He did one, and I described this to Josh in the previous show, where I think it was the 3rd quarter, maybe it was the 4th, but he got the Miami was playing that weird little zone thing, and he pass faked from the right wing and saw an open lane. And he leapt from probably the second peg, but outside of the lane by 2 or 3 feet, off of 2 feet. And he absorbed contact and laid it off the rim beautifully. And it was the sort of shot where I wish my kid was up watching with me, because we could go outside and spend 40 minutes doing that with no defense and he wouldn't make it. Because it's the nerf balling of it. I love that description because it's just such a soft kiss off the glass in a lot of respects.
Dude, it's really crazy. He must have some hands on him, man. Like, he must have some big hands, because even Luka, especially Kyrie, when I watch Kyrie, he really pegs that ball at the backboard. Like when he goes pass, he pegs it. Like, he gets a full follow through. The ball's coming off the tip of the fingers. Not this young fella, mate. He's just floating it up, and it's unusual to watch, and it's just something that I've noticed. And man, he is a machine. And what's he going to be like with another 20 pounds on him, man?
That's why you should be. That's why if you're a person who's just only paying attention every now and again, that's the question that I would ask, where it's like, just give this guy a year in an NBA strength program with full-time, and I know he's basically been a professional athlete since he was 15, but it's different. It's just, the NBA is just different. You see, I go back, I was telling a dad about this today at my son's practice, where I said, Yao Ming 20 years ago entered the league huge. Like, he was like 315 pounds, but he had no strength, no functional strength. And by the time he was like forced into his medical retirement, he was such a monster strength wise that he was a bear. Like, there's a reason he's a multi-time all-star. And the Rockets were able 20 years ago to put strength on him without weight. And that's what I'm going to be fascinated to see with Cooper. Like, his body's going to change because he's 18. But
of course. Yeah.
Like, do we remember Luka in year 2 when he was basically 20? And he just had was at the peak of his physical prime right then. I mean, maybe he is back now, but it's just, I'm so curious to see what happens with an NBA strength and conditioning program because his work ethic is there. It's so fun.
It is fun. And, we didn't think we were going to have fun for quite some time.
Yes.
Yes. It's such a gift after being absolutely lollywopped by the retard Harrison to be given such another gift. And more importantly, Kirk, is just these shows are just a great way to express these little tiny things that we all see. And, you and Josh are very perceptive and obviously watch the games very eagerly. But, man, I'm looking forward to game 40 and talking about what he looks like with a decent thumb, And
that's a good point.
He didn't shoot a 3 tonight, Kirk, and I think Coach had a bit to do with that. I think Coach has said, look, why don't we just wait till your thumb's a bit better before you start shooting threes? And he didn't shoot one tonight, which is unusual. He could have, but instead he faked it and drove the lane and passed it up. And, man, he's doing everything right. It's really impressive to watch. I didn't enjoy his first half a dozen games, but I'm really enjoyed the last half a dozen. He looks fantastic. And, it's still okay to be a Mavs fan. I haven't thrown out all my Mavs T-shirts yet. So we're going all right. We're going all right, Kirk.
Well, thank you for continuing the show. Appreciate you joining 2 nights in a row, though we couldn't hear you on Monday. So maybe we'll see you Friday if they shock the Oklahoma City Thunder. That would be something.
Hey, they're due a loss. They're due a loss, Kirk. May as well be us. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Talk soon.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. All right. Gonna go to a quick break, and then I'm gonna throw it to Mr. Ashboying, where he and I will proceed to talk about high school football for 20 minutes. Just kidding. If you want to support the show, listen to the ads. It helps us. Also direct, there's links in the shows, and also tell your friends because this is the show for the real Mavs weirdos in your lives. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for waiting. Coming up next, my friend Ashboying. Welcome to the show once again. How are you?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. This is I can't get over how fast that game was done, and we've been talking for an hour now. It's only 11 o'clock. I feel like sometimes these games don't end until closer to 10 or 10:15, and it's like, God, that game just moved, and it was great.
We've been playing on the West Coast the last 3 games too, though, so that may be part of it. But
yes.
Okay, so we Josh talks about the turnovers in the mathematics game, and I want to bring something up because Miami did they took 10 more shots than we did. They weren't real efficient, okay? And one of those, the Mavericks play the Heat, I think, better than anybody else because they don't just stop playing defense once you get into the paint. I mean, it's kind of like how they get this thing in their teeth that, okay, we're never out of a game, but they also do defensively say we're never out of a possession. They don't give up on possessions. And so, I like to watch them play defense. I really do. But let's talk about the turnovers too, because in the middle of the second quarter, I remember, them saying that the Mavericks had 7 turnovers in the middle of the second quarter, and so from that period to the end of the game, they had 6 turnovers. Okay, and not constant, and consequently, you saw them go on a run at the end of the first half, and almost dominate the third quarter. Because they take care of the ball now, and that again, that's part of having a real point guard. Now, I do want to caution everybody. I remember Jeremy Lin and Lin Sanity, and Nimhard could be Nim Sanity here. So I don't want to throw all my eggs in that basket right now. But at the end of the day, I think he makes a pretty good 20 to 25 minute point guard, and sometimes that's, it's good to find that guy, as well as your lead guy, because sooner or later you're going to have Kyrie Irving playing 30, 32 minutes a game,
Yes.
and so, theoretically, and so, but Nembhard makes a great guy to come in and be that backup for, to give Kyrie the rest that he needs. So, you just got to find pieces, to build this thing. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I was thinking about. And then, I will also say this: if and when Cooper does become a better 3-point shooter, can you imagine the way he's going to attack hard closeouts?
Love it. Like rim rocking ruthlessness, the likes of which Mavericks fans have not seen since late stage Vince Carter. They're
Right.
just one of the things that the Mavericks as a fan base have been blessed by so many different interesting players, but the best athlete we've had. Shoot, what was the guy's name? He played high school basketball out of Houston and could jump out of the gym.
Well, I remember Tony Dumas could jump out of the gym. I don't remember if that's the guy you're thinking of.
No, he's a birthday cake candle guy on the dunk contest. What? God, or was that JaVale McGee? This is pissing me off. Who was the best dunker that's ever been in the Mavericks uniform? Oh my God. Anyway, keep going though. I'm gonna have to get in the basketball reference.
Vince Carter would be my pick. Maybe not when he was with the Mavericks, but
Sure.
But when he's able to, as you said, when he's able to rise up when you go under the screen, when he's able to attack hard closeouts because he's getting the hard closeouts, the kid's going to score, buckets and buckets. And I will say this: I believe the thumb has something to do with his 3-point shot, because if you look at his free throw percentage, he's hovering around 80%. Okay. And I think it's probably the thumb saying, I can't shoot it from 24, but I can still shoot it from 15 with good form and good touch. Okay. And so once that that brace comes off and he's able to actually, shoot it, we may see something we've never seen before. I mean, if he shoots just 33% from 3, he might be a 30-point scorer.
Sorry, yes. Let's just go with that. Also, I can't believe my brain didn't remember Gerald Green playing for the Mavericks in 2008, 2009. That's how long ago Gerald Green played for the Mavericks. For some reason, I thought my brain was telling me he was part of like the Carlisle Hell years from 2012 on. But yes, the 3-point shot. It's so nice because the NBA was drifting towards being so top heavy from 3. And one of the fun parts about the Cooper discussion / argument is who does he play like? And the constant back and forth that I've seen falls somewhere between Jason Tatum and Kawhi Leonard. And I prefer the Kawhi Leonard part because I think Kawhi attacks a little more, though Tatum has. If Tatum ever is like, all right, I'm going to stop shooting threes and I'm just going to rim rock, like he's capable of it. I just think he likes the Kobe style point bullshit. Well, and so that's just sort of where
But I would say that if he plays maybe like a more athletic Kawhi Leonard.
Yes.
Kawhi tended to use his strength and some guile, whereas Cooper's just going to say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and jump over you.
Yes.
I will also tell you that again. I don't like the whistle he gets. I mean, I thought there was a couple of drives that he had where I thought he got just hit horribly and he didn't get the whistle. He only shot. He
has a terrible whistle. He had a baseline one where he was bumped. So I guess he's attacking left on the left baseline because he had the ball in his left hand, and he hit kind of a floater while getting hammered on his right shoulder. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it's such an obvious call and they're just not making it. I don't know.
And when he starts getting those calls again, when he starts getting those calls, when he starts, becoming just a league average 3-point. I'm not even asking him to be, 38, 39, 40%. I'm asking him, I'm telling you, when he's hitting 33% of his threes and he's getting a true whistle, he may be a 30-point scorer every night.
I would like that.
And then you take a look at his defense. He had 1 steal and 1 block in the box score, but if you watched, he flat out caused 2 other turnovers by almost stealing the ball and causing the Miami player to knock the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
And they don't give him a steal. They don't give him the statistic on that, but those are as good as a steal. Those are taking away possessions. And so, I mean, and the last thing I want to tell you is that, when I'm watching Miami, I think, and what would Cooper Flagg look like in that offense?
Yes, like with the rim, like the lanes, like in the driving lanes. That's a good one.
Because all those lanes that Jaime Jaquez has.
Mm-hmm.
If Cooper's got those again, he's a 30-point guy.
That's a fun take. I certainly don't think you're off base on that one.
My final thought here is this, and I love PJ, but Cooper plays so much better when he's the power player. And you got to put a smaller guy on Najee Marshall because Najee's got speed. And when Washington comes back, you're putting that power player on Washington rather than putting that power player on Cooper, who abuses guys that don't have foot speed.
Yeah, and this is maybe not fair to PJ, but I feel that Cooper is he's a hair more skilled in the areas where the downhill attacking matters.
Right. And I'm not so sure that when PJ comes back, I don't try to stagger, Cooper and PJ. I honestly believe that if PJ's playing on a second unit, he abuses a second unit because those guys just aren't strong enough to hang with him.
That was my take early in the season, and then they bumped him in the starting lineup, and it just didn't, pan out that way.
So, I'm not so sure I wouldn't I'm not so sure I wouldn't keep Najee in the starting lineup when PJ comes back. And you take a look at the draft and where the Mavericks may be drafting, and they're going to get the ability. They're going to have the ability to draft a guy like Dame Sarr or Isaiah Evans or some other, guy that's got, speed and defense and 3-point shooting that can, open up the floor for Cooper even more. So,
yeah.
That's and in an open floor situation, that guy is an assassin.
Yeah. Very fun. It's nice talking about, and let's just be honest. The next 2 games are likely to suck for Dallas in terms of outcome, but that's okay. Like, they're measuring sticks, and the Mavericks are building something. One of the things that I think is very, this is just part of the fan process now. And I saw this, covering the team with Luka, is just the immediate desire to be contenders and not enjoy the process of improvement.
I enjoy the process. I sit there and, sometimes I'll just sit there with a pad and start scribbling out guys that I might want to put with this team that, that could grow with this team. And, I will tell you, when they're playing Saturday night against Houston, I believe it's Saturday night, man, watch Terry Eason and think about what he would look like on the floor.
Always. I've thought about him in the Maverick uniform since he joined the NBA. Like, he's just such a, like a, I don't even know how to describe him. He's like a Swiss Army knife basketball player. He does so many things well. Yeah.
And he's a free agent this year. And I don't know that Houston's going to be able to keep him.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, we're $1 million under the second apron. The Mavericks have some work to do in that regard.
But if they trade with Chicago, with Anthony Davis, they're going to be about $40 million under the first agent.
Yeah.
I mean, because Chicago's got all those expiring. So, I'm just saying, how good would he look in a Mavericks uniform on the floor with think about defensively, those 2 guys. You could switch everything.
Yep. Yep.
and not even have to worry about. I mean, just that would look so delicious defensively. And then, I just he's a free agent. He's a free agent at the end of the season. He turned down the Rockets' offer of an extension, and I don't know that the Rockets are going to have the cash to pay him because they've got a lot of contracts coming up.
Yes. I mean, I hate that the NBA is basically that sort of thing now, but what are you going to do? Yeah. Anything else we want to hit on tonight?
Well, we got the regional finals this weekend. Southlake, who's really good, plays Geyer.
Southlake is a fuck. Look, not to beat on the city, they have earned this, but they have like 3 wide receivers who are going to play Division I football.
Well, that one kid's going to Ohio State, and he's one of the best I've ever seen in this area.
And it's a completely different deal, which is so funny. It's so incredible to be that good year in and year out. But if local Dallas people, if you have the ability to go check out one of these high school games, I just can't recommend it enough. Even if you have no affiliation with the town, it's just fun.
Well, I will tell you this: Geyer is one of the few schools that's 500 with Southlake.
That's I love, I lost to South, in basketball I never lost to Southlake, but in football I lost to Southlake often. So I
district with them, I would imagine
early on it wasn't fun, but different deal. But what am I gonna do? I have to go to Frisco for youth basketball. That's my weekend.
Well, I was going to tell you this because I heard Larry Bird talk about this one time, and you're talking about how you want to try to figure out how to get your son to be a better 3-point shooter, and the legs are part of it. But Larry Bird says that what he did is he got a rope, a stick, and a weight, and would just roll that weight up with that.
Oh, the forearms.
With did that. So that's his recommended method for being able to shoot the 3 pretty well. And
he's pretty good.
He's pretty good at it. So
yeah. Pretty good guy. I like that take. I just mainly tell him stuff because I'm like, stop shooting from 35 feet because it just misses by 12 feet. I'm like, can we focus on making a layup first?
That's what I had to tell my kids because everybody comes in, they want to be Steph.
Yep.
And I'm going to shoot from 30. Well, let's build your shot. Let's get you automatic from say 12. Okay. Yep. And then we'll move you out to 15. Then we'll move you out to 18.
And that's clearly what they've done with Cooper. Cooper is essentially this, where it's over the last 5 years, his team and him have built his shot into something. Because if you see older tapes of him and they're on YouTube, there's this one really painful one when he's clearly 13 and a half and he's wearing a Mavs shirt. And it's he's so talented and athletic and big, but it's his shot just looks weird. And figuring that out from the start is tough. And they've really done an incredible job.
I would guess that his personal coaches at some point, maybe when the thumb gets better, they're going to have a little bit of some refresher training on his jump shot because that's what happened last year.
Sure.
And that's why I'm always referring to after January 6th, because if you read the articles about Cooper, when Duke went on Christmas break, he stayed in North Carolina, and his coach came down, and they worked on his jump shot. And from that point on, he shot 42.5% from 3. So my guess is there's going to be a little bit of some tune-up work, once the thumb gets better. And again, assuming that he's able to push through the rookie wall, because you're right about that. Assuming that toward the end of the season, that guy's going to be deadly. And, you guys keep referring to him as a supercomputer, but, I keep referring to him as a Borg because what he does is he learns. I mean, you watch him play Miami one night and not do well, but then he figures it out. And he's just, I'm going to assimilate you. And I've just figured you out. And so, once he figures out the league, look out.
That's right. That's right, man.
Because he's going to be very, very, very hard to stop. And, once he gets a running mate, whomever that may be, it's going to be, it's going to be that much better. So I like some of the pieces that we've got, but we need to, we need another wing, and we need a high end point guard. And once we got those two things, we're going to take off.
I agree.
I would also like to trade Anthony Davis in some kind of three-way where we could get Mr. Ware to Dallas, because that guy is amazing.
He is special, and it's so funny. You look at his numbers and when he's not playing Dallas, and it's like, what is going on here? But I like watching him play Dallas. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I like watching him play, period, because he's an offensive rebounder, and he also controls the defensive boards, but he's also an offensive rebounder. And I'm just going to tell you, in the future, you're going to need to have somebody that can guard Wemby if you want to win a championship. And I think he's one of the few. Now we've got a guy that can do it if he could ever stay on the floor. Okay, but Ware's one of the few guys with the length and the speed to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a pretty valuable piece. And if Lively could stay healthy, so would he, because in 5 years, Wemby's going to control the league.
Maybe I like Wemby, but it's like at a certain point, stay on the floor, brother.
Assuming health. Well, it's the same thing with Lively.
Yeah. For Lively, for sure. But my expectations for Lively have always been like starter,
right?
Versus not league saving, multi-generational superstar kind of thing. So
right. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you get to bed because we're closing in on 11:30. So
this is good. We're all good. Thanks, man. Appreciate you hanging out.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye. All right, guys. This has been Kirk Anderson of Pod Maverick. This has been a Mavs Party. Thank you so much for hanging out. Come Friday, bring your takes. If you are on the fence and you're like, I don't know if I want to join, you don't got to show your face. I don't care. I just want to talk basketball with people. I like talking basketball. I learn so much in these shows. Anyway, good times, noodle salad. Talk to everybody later. Go Mavs.